Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. NFL Talks with Ox, Fox and Ox. That's what it is. On the mic with Mike King here. We got my man Ken Oxendine, Deon Fox here. They are NFL alum, and we are talking football. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
All right, Mr. Fox, let folks know who you are.
Deon Fox, graduate of Meadowbrook High School. From there, James Madison University. From there, Miami Dolphins. Played with Washington Redskins at the time, now known as the Commanders. Little stint at Green Bay for a little bit. And then, Canadian Football League, XFL. I'm now back in Richmond, working in the school system. I'm also the president and founder of 5756 Foundation, 5756foundation.org, Mr. Fox at 5756 Foundation, and at 5756 Foundation. Also the president of NFL Alumni here in Richmond, the Richmond chapter, Deon.Fox at NFLalumni.org.
Thank you, sir. Ken Oxendine.
Ken Oxendine, Chester, Virginia, Thomasdale, a graduate, Virginia Tech, Hokie, Falcons, drafted by, got a chance to go to the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl that the Falcons had, then went on and played in XFL, had a stint in the coaching world, coaching on high school, college, and over in NFL Europe, and then came back to the States and back to my hometown to put my foundation back on the map, and Brown and Oxendine Sports Group, KenOxendine.com, and all those things where we can be found at.
Really quickly, gentlemen, so we're going to get to football in a moment. You guys are really big time committed to the community. We'd like to thank you for that one right there. So let's start to Mr. Fox. When you look at organizations that are out there, you played at different ones, whether it's here, Canadian Football League, what's one organization that stands out to you and you say, wow, I like the way that they did business, and why was that?
As far as overall business being done, you talking about a particular team?
Not just the team or the organization.
Well, the teams that I were affiliated with, I'd have to say overall, while I was playing, Miami. Okay. Overall, after I finished playing, that I've dealt with Washington, from just my experience. Not everything is perfect. Understand what I'm saying? Not everything is perfect. However, what I've seen, some things are better after the fact because you have certain people in place. There's been a lot of turnaround in Washington. Now, if we look at playing, there's a whole lot of change going on, man. So it's the different theories and the different concepts that guys have. I'm still trying to figure out, but I'm outside looking in with that stuff, with the organization as far as the players go. The organization as far as alumni go, you have some that do better than others. I've heard stuff from other organizations outside looking in, but people that are actually inside where they tell me certain things that's going on, and we try to, like, oh, okay, y'all got that, y'all have this. So we kind of like, as alumni, we talk to each other and compare notes. But right now, after playing, Washington has been more accommodating to their alumni than any other team that I've played with.
Okay. Ken Oxendine, how about you?
Yes, same thing. I was up in Detroit for a short stint, and and obviously and then XFL, and then obviously Atlanta. But seeing two regimes of different, the Smith family compared to the Blank family, two totally different groups. Arthur Blank, when he came in, he's Home Depot. So when you think about customer service, that's what he has done. That's what they have done. And it's really been, one of those things when you think about as an alumnus and being able to be accommodated. We get to go to, to games. They do an alumni event where it's during the season where they come, they invite us back to make sure, he makes sure the whole state is seen. He utilizes the ex-players to his advantage to put an imprint throughout the whole state. And the guys get to do events. They still, reach out to me to be able to do stuff. And then even to, there was one event that they did out in Montana. They reached out to me and wanted me to be a part of that. So I was very grateful for that. You know, he is. And then I talked to this one guy who he buys up like a lot of tickets, you know,
Oh, Tom
in different
C.
stadiums. He's yeah, yep,
Tom
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Tom. Yeah. Well, I forgot you know Tom. Well, he said Atlanta, they're one of the they're one of the one groups, the people who have those their season tickets. Atlanta sends them gear, signed footballs, and other stuff. Where he says like a lot of the other groups don't do that, and so he, you know, he's just like, you know, and so you see it on. I've been able to see it on both sides, where as an alumnus, as a player, but then also as a seeing it from someone else's side that is, you know, he's being serviced by, or they're servicing him. So, you know, so that's what's crazy when you look at that. But then also I heard like at Tennessee Titans, now they bring in for a whole weekend, put you up, and like some of the guys that's involved in that program, they really do it big for them. You know, so you know, each program has, you know, their niches and how they, you know, it just depends on, I guess, John, probably the person that's in that player personnel area or alumni relations that deal with the alumni.
It all depends on who they
Understand.
have in that area too. It all depends on who they have in that area too. Because like you said, with the alumni relations, we switched and we had somebody that was a former player, but his longest stint was when he was with another team. And he played with Washington for I
Oh,
think a
yeah,
year.
yeah.
And then after that, you know, he came back, he left and then came back and then became the alumni relations guy. But he had some hiccups along the
Mm-hmm.
way
Yeah,
doing it, because you hear other people talking about he's getting help from other people in other divisions. You don't realize how many divisions there are amongst the team, because you have the charitable organization, you have the where they go out and they solicit from business, that side, then they have another side, and they have another side, and but all of them end up doing some of the same stuff together to pull us in, and they end up
yeah.
being at the same events. Like if they call, like they may call Ken, they may call me, and call somebody else to come and do something for an initiative.
Mm-hmm.
But because certain people call you, you don't realize which initiative it is, and they, you
Yeah.
know, and they'll pay you to show up for the initiative. So you call and find out, okay, who is this through, and they're trying to tell you who stuff, who's who it's through or whatever. Oh, well, let me connect you to this person. Let me. It's just so many. It's just so it's a lot of working parts. Let me just say that it's a lot of working parts. You know, and sometimes it's smooth, and sometimes it's not so smooth.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we give you here, NFL Talks with guys who played. That's sort of on the back end. That's the business community relations side of it. We got Ken Oxen, De'Aaron Fox, NFL Talks, Fox and Ox, Mike King here. All righty, we're going to the weekend games this weekend. Let's put a wrap on this past week's games. What do you guys think? What's a couple of things that stood out to you? Ox, we'll go with you first.
Just the quarterback play. You know, look at the teams that played last week and how they played. You know, the quarterbacks really, you know, you look at Trevor Lawrence, you know, and how he played. You look at Purdy and how he didn't do well in the first quarter, and then he, you know, he was allowed. He ended up being a get back, but then, you know, Dak Prescott, you know how he played. You know, he really played. He played 5 touchdowns. So, and he's going to have to continue. But that's really what stood out to me, and even down to, you know, the Bengals and how they worked.
How about you, Mr. Fox?
I looked at a few things this weekend. One of the things, yeah, quarterback play is one. When you talking about Trevor Lawrence coming out and throwing 4 picks in the first quarter and then rebounded from that. Okay, either he's can rebound from anything or that team, hate to make a comparison, blows a 20-point lead to lose the game. The only
Yeah,
thing, the stage wasn't as big as the Super Bowl.
yeah.
Okay. And then the coaching for another, like certain things that stand out, the coaching, the offense against the Bills. You have the ball,
Mhm.
it's 4th and a foot, and you don't get to play in.
Yeah.
So now you have a delay of game. Now it's 4th and 6. The play you run, now you need a first down to keep your drive alive in order to have a chance to give your team a shot to win. It's a no-brainer, and I know I've never coached in the NFL. However, I've played in the league. Ken has played in the league. Mike, you've not played in the league, but you can sit here and all three
Calling
of
the
us can
plays from
probably
home.
exactly. So all three of us can sit here and go, okay, 4th and a foot, quarterback sneak, quarterback under center, somebody push him from behind. Everybody's doing it. It's now legal to do. And instead, you see the coach on the sideline trying to figure out which play he's calling, calls it in too late. They don't get the ball snapped. Then when they actually call the play, where they get the delay of game, the quarterback isn't gunning. It's a running play that takes so long to develop, a slow developing running play. That's not what you do because there's no threat. There's no threat of pass. There's no threat of anything else. So the defense has a certain mindset, pin my ear back and go. I thought some of the play calling in a couple of the games were questionable. I just didn't understand it. And then some games, it was the quarterback and the receivers were not on the same page. Defense were making mistakes. So, to each, congratulations to all the teams that made it to the next round. And I think this week is going to be, probably, I'm hoping
Interesting.
it'll be better games from start to finish.
Yeah.
I
Alrighty,
hope it'll be
so
better calls, better managed.
question. Alrighty, so Mr. Fox, you played on the defensive side of the ball. You just brought up Trevor Lawrence. Um, let's go to this scenario right here. Pick number one. You're the defense. What do you guys say?
What?
Okay. So we
We
got pick
good?
number one.
We
We
good?
like, yeah, we good. We going in. All right, good. We got a takeaway. All right, cool. Get
Okay.
a ball to the offense. Let them do something with it.
All right. So, but wait a second. You're the defense for Trevor Lawrence. You're on his
Oh, the
team.
defense for Trevor. Okay.
All
So
right. So how you looking
I'm
at him with
Jacksonville's
pick number
defense.
one?
Pick number one. I'm like, all right, we'll shake it off. We'll go out here and get the ball back.
Okay. Pick number two.
All right, come on, man. We got
Okay.
we got to tighten up. We got to tighten up.
Okay. So wait
We
a
got to
second.
tighten up. But we're gonna go out here, do our job.
You say you start off pick number two. All right. Come on, man. All right. That's good. We still civil. We
Yeah, come
good.
on. Yeah, because we still good. Yeah, we still good. We still civil. It's just all right. We gotta get out here and get this ball back. Can't give up no points. Gotta
Okay.
make it minimal.
Pick number three. Does he need security at that point?
Not so much security, but it's he getting some balled up
Those
faces.
look. Yeah.
He getting some looks. He getting some
He's getting
side
some.
eyes. He
Okay.
getting some side eye. You're not gonna say too much to him because he's that guy. He's number one overall draft pick to Jacksonville, and
He's
Jack,
he's their money guy. He's their
yeah.
money guy.
so all right. So you're giving him the side eye with pick number
Yeah,
three. Mr. Fox, what happens with pick number four?
it's at that point. It's still the first quarter, but you still like again. You know,
Now you
you're like
saying
again,
what the?
and so you just it's like So you just go out there and say, look, man, let's just go out here and try to make something happen, man, and hopefully, he'll take care of the ball and coach will call some running play.
Coach Colson.
So
And so, but he brings you back. And what you say at the end, that's my boy?
you said then, like, you happy, but you probably having a conversation with him about, hey, man, we can't do this next week.
Mhm.
So
Ladies and
it
gentlemen,
turns
that's
it
why we
turns into
bring
that.
them in. So you say, and you pull them aside and be like, yo, we can't live like that. That's dangerous.
Yeah, it
Right.
it is because it's not it's that what he did is like winning the lottery. You see what I'm saying? We can go through and try to figure out how many quarterbacks have thrown 4 interceptions in a game and then led their team to a win.
Okay.
And I can guarantee you in all the years of the NFL is less than 5. As a matter of fact, while you talking to Ken, I'm gonna find that information out.
There you go. All right, Ken. So now you're on the offensive side of the ball. And every time your kicker comes up, he's missing extra points.
Oh God.
What all right? So Ken, what happens with the first one? You're okay?
Yeah, but we scored a touchdown. All right, that's no, you didn't kick some long distance this year, and just something's off. I'm from the sideline looking, could have been a hole. Say, hey, we good.
We're good. Missed point number 2.
And now he's like, look, man, we got, and because it's quick, because you got to go on the other side. So that, look, man, we need point. We need every point. Come on, let's talk to somebody. Yeah.
Number 3.
All you got is one job. You got one job. And so, and then, because that was because I played, with Morton Anderson and Dan Straczynski. And so Dan, and that's the other thing with kickers. Some kickers, you can say stuff to them all day long. Some that you can't. Like a Mort, you can say, come on, man, what are you doing? Like a Dan, and he's a punter and he can kick, you're just like, dang. You trying this whole and that's the thing, you either coddle them or you get on. And in that sense, but still, you like, you still got to go over there, and you still, you still trying to make sure that the game's still close. Is you got 6, and then you got 12 points. It's like they two scores from being back in it. So, and then number 4 come. He said, look, you ain't gonna be here, after tomorrow.
That the bad part about that is when you see the person melt and the bottom cells. Even if a quarterback gets burnt, we always talk about he going to the burn ward or some. But there's other players out there. When you see the kicker and he's missing, he's just by himself, just looking sad. He got the ball, kind of kick it into the net. You feel bad for him. But all righty. So here, Mr. Fox, did you get on your research staff?
I'm on my research staff now.
All righty, Ken Oxendine. Let's start off. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some breaking news.
So right now is showing. Go into the next thing. I'll get it after this.
All righty, Ken Oxendine. Let's start off with the games. The games this week.
All right.
What's the first game we're talking about?
First game is we're going to the 4 picks in itself. You got the Jags and Kansas City. It's gonna be interesting because you got Peterson, who played under Andy Reid, who coached under Andy Reid.
Yes.
They're playing against each other. Again this year, and it's gonna be interesting how that game plan, because Kansas City's defense is not necessarily the best in the league, but if you most of the times with Kansas City, they're outscoring you. So so those are the things in where you go figure out real quick if Jacksonville can't keep the ball, and they're getting the Jags getting 9 points. So that's a slap in the face right there.
That is true. You figure that Kansas City does outrun people. Jacksonville has shown that they can put some points up too. So if it gets to now, for the fan, I'm sure there's the fans out there who like the 6-3 game or whatever, but we could take a 41-38.
Yeah.
And with a 41-38, it could be anybody. Me, I'm torn with this game because obviously being a Philly connection, Andy Reid. And it got so bad after Chip Kelly, the Eagles called Andy Reid and said, "Who you got?" And they sent us Doug Peterson. And you know what he did for us. So there's always love for both of those guys there. But this one right here, I'm going out there and taking my man Doug Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, yes, sir.
And
I mean, it hates me. It breaks my heart to say that, but that's what I'm going. I'm going with the younger than the young gun.
Yeah, and that is very interesting because when you look at it though, last game when they lost to Kansas City in Week 9, they had a very slow start, and they just ran out of time. So they gave Kansas City some fits when they played them. And the biggest thing is this, in that game when they played them, the defense didn't the offense didn't take advantage of they had 3 turnovers. So they didn't take advantage of those turnovers, but then also the Jags run game was missing in that game as well. So, and that's the other side. If they can keep Kansas City off the field and then just convert third downs better. They were in that game, they were 4-14 for third downs. So those are the biggest parts that I can, where at your point that the Jags can come out victorious over Kansas City.
If you can throw 4 picks and come back, you got a short memory.
Yeah, but you got to understand if he throw 4 picks again, he didn't throw 4 picks against Kansas City.
That could be 21 points, easy.
Yeah.
28 easy.
Yeah.
But
so you're saying every time he throw, and they can score.
Exactly. I mean, and they've shown it because the offense that they have, the weapons they have on offense, it. You have to account for every single person on their offense.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to. Now they can be beaten, but not when you're giving them that many chances to be successful.
Yeah.
When you're turning the ball over, and every time you're talking about every time that an offense gets the ball, they're expecting to score.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're expecting to score a touchdown, not just a field goal. So if you're talking about the max points that you could get, every time you turn the ball over, and if the other team scores, that's a 14-point turnaround. -7 for me, +7 for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference of you talking about
56 points.
56 points, man. 56 points. That's a 56-point swing. -28 for me, +28 for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of points.
Yes, sir.
You do all that in the first quarter? You talking about they do that against Kansas City in the first quarter. The starters are sitting by the third.
Yeah. Easily.
The starters are sitting by the third.
Yeah.
It seems like Patrick
But I did find that
Mahomes
information out.
Okay, go ahead. Let's give it to us, ladies and gentlemen. Our research department really has come through for us, Mr. Fox.
All right, so he did 4. I found one better. They have where they started the stats at 5 picks or more and won the game. There have only been 9 quarterbacks that have done that. Ken, one of the quarterbacks is yours. Okay. Matt Ryan, your former teammate in Atlanta, you was there with him. You was there with him, right?
Yeah, I was.
Right?
Came a little bit after me, but yeah, I'll take him.
Okay, so Matty Ice threw 5 picks against Arizona, and they still came out and won 23-19.
It was Arizona.
Also, Tony Romo.
Wow.
Tony Romo in 2007 threw 5 picks against Buffalo. Okay. And won. And then Mark Rippon, Washington, threw at least 5 picks again with a win over Chicago. All right.
Hmm.
And then you had Wade Wilson, Minnesota, threw at least 5 picks, win over Denver. John Elway went over Kansas City, threw at least 5 picks. This was back in 1985. 1980, Dan Fouts, San Diego win over Oakland, at least 5 picks.
But he might have thrown
1980,
for
Joe
700
Ferguson.
yards.
Exactly. Hey, look, 1980, Joe Ferguson, Buffalo win over Miami. In 1970, Johnny Unitas, at least 5. Baltimore, that's back when it was the Baltimore Colts, win over Chicago. And then back in 1967, the last one, okay, it was Bart Starr, Green Bay, and a win over Chicago with at least 5 picks in a game and won.
Shoot, it's most of those guys, they were, perennial big time players too.
Exactly. So they did go on.
They lived to die by that arm.
Especially Dan Fouts. I used to love that offense, but that was before you guys' time. Sorry about that. Hey, that's how it is when you've been around a long time. All right, so Mr. Fox, who you got for this week for the Jags and Mr. Mahomes and the crew?
I'm gonna roll with Kansas City, man. I'm gonna roll with Kansas City just because I understand that, they came back the Jaguars came back last week. However, you can't make that many mistakes every week. And Kansas City is the type of team that will capitalize on those type of mistakes. So they're hungry for it. They're going to see how that happened, and they're going to see how they can get him to duplicate that. So I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought that I was betting against Patrick Mahomes, you lost your mind. That's for sure.
And look at that. Mahomes has yet to lose a divisional round in 4 starts.
I don't know. It just seems like he's been around forever.
Yeah, I know.
And just doing the stuff that he's doing. Alrighty, that is. So everybody's going with the Jags. No, I'm just messing around. We're just all going with Kansas City. What's the next one?
We got the Giants and Philly. You know what?
Is this even a game? And the answer is yes. Because the way the Giants played, as you could imagine, it was not a good weekend for me. The Cowboys, no, it was not. And then the Giants, I'm not feeling all that good.
Yeah, especially the way those 3 front dudes played for the Giants last week.
Yeah.
Then I don't know what they ate, but it seemed like they were just manhandling that O-line last week.
Daniel Jones looking like a real football player, calling him Danny Dimes. I mean, so I saw the thing where he said Vanilla Vic, when he talked about your boy Michael Vick, he said Danny Dimes after running like that. Well, I'm going with my Eagles. That's it. But it's not the same swagger that I was having like the first 9 weeks of the season. Mr. Fox?
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is Jalen 100%.
So with this game, based on how the Giants played last week, they pulled it out. They gelled at the right time. You never know what Giants team is going to show up. I will say Philly hasn't had that issue with as much this season on which team is going to show up. Okay. The Giants have had, situations where they come out and they look, pretty good like they did last week. And they had a lot of times where they come out and not look as good. So it depends on who shows up. But based on what I've seen, we hope that Philly does not have the hangover from being off. Okay. And they come out and can click. So I'm going to go ahead because everybody's healthy. I'm thinking, it's a new season. I'm thinking Philly may come out and pull this one out. It's gonna be a close one just because of the rivalry between the two.
Yeah.
But I think Philly maybe by like 7. You know,
Okay, there you
it's
go.
going it's gonna be close.
This is NFL Talk, Fox Knox, Mike King, Ken Ox, and Deion Fox. Ox, really quickly, how can people find you out there?
All things Ken Oxline's on the web, boxsportsgroup.com, boxsg on Instagram, ken.oxdine at nflalumni.com.
Mr. Fox.
At 5756 Foundation on Instagram, 5756foundation.org website, making positive change in the community. Also, Dion.Fox at NFLalumni.org and Mr. Fox at 5756foundation.com.
Well, there you go.
So
On the mic.
feel free
Okay,
to
Mr.
reach
Fox,
out.
I'm sorry.
That's how you can catch us.
That's right. You're out there doing big
I
things.
said, feel free to reach out. That's how you can reach out to me.
That's right. You're doing big things in the community. We'd like to thank them. Hey, we'd like to thank our show sponsors. That is Core Mortgage. My man Kelvin Oliver. KO is out there. Nicole Reed. Nicole Real Estate. She is the queen of RVA real estate as well as Synergy Technical. Those are the partners that keep On the Mic with Mike King Biz Radio running. So we'd like to thank them. Really quickly, let's touch on the GOAT. Is Tom Brady done? Or we'll start with you, Ken Oxen. And should he be? Really quickly.
Yeah, he had it just, it's him. I thought he was done a long time ago, but when he came to Tampa, he showed that he could, but he's old. He's as old as has ever done it. And his age really showed at the end, really this season and some of the games that he played. And so, but it's really the mindset of him. So, his arms still look pretty where you look at his arm, him throwing, and Russell Wilson and those two throwing, his arms still look, just as strong as Russell, and Russell a little bit younger than he is. So, I think yes, and give somebody else a chance. But, it's really where his mindset is.
Mr. Fox, so you tee up and you see Tom Brady back there, the best that ever done it. He is the GOAT, waiting 46 years old, and that could be 84. And then you think about, I don't have to run him down like Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, any Josh Allen. We don't have to run him down. He's going to be right there where we can find him. What do you think about when you look up and it's him there, even with all those Super Bowls?
I get to tackle a legend, because back when I played, the legend that I played against, I played against a couple guys that were considered legends. You got Dan Marino, you got Joe Montana. I played against Joe Montana when he went to Kansas City. Okay, after he got traded to Kansas City. Dan Marino, I went against him in practice every day. So, I'm used to seeing guys like that. It was multiple guys back then in the 90s and before. You only have one or two like that now. Somebody that's done the stuff that he's done. But do I think that he's done? He's only done if he wants to be done, because evidently people think he still has something in the tank. Yeah, he's old. He's been around a while. If you give him the same weapons that he had the year he went to the Super Bowl with just Tampa Bay, he has a better season than what he had this year.
Very true.
He has a better season than what he had this year. So you put him in a situation where he has help, then yeah. I don't care how good the quarterback is. He can't do it alone. That's why it's 11 people out on the field. Okay? That's why 11 people out on the field. Mahomes has good running back, tight ends, 2 good receivers, and the offensive line is pretty good. With all those weapons that he has that he can get the ball to, not to mention he can also run. He has so many threats around him. He is a threat himself when he takes off running. So, if we want to talk about stuff like that, yeah. A lot of quarterbacks can't survive with just one guy. They double coverage him the whole time, and they say, okay, we'll let somebody else beat us. We're not going to let this guy beat us. We'll let other people beat us. So do I think he has something left in the tank? Yeah, he probably does. Is he taking a big chance coming back? he's more susceptible to injury because he can't take those hits, of course. However, you give him, a tight end, two good receivers, and a good running back, he can do what he did when his first year that he got to Tampa.
Mhm.
People thought he was washed up then, and he goes straight to the Super Bowl. Second year, he goes to the Super Bowl again and loses in the. Loses in the. He goes to the playoffs and then loses in the divisional round. So he makes two good strong runs, and in the third year he's there. He gets to the playoffs after a not so good start to the season with less, and each year he had less weapons.
Mhm.
There you go. De'Aaron Fox, Ken Oxen down here. All righty, Ox. That is Saturday. Let's move to Sunday. What we got going on Sunday?
Yeah. And also one more stat from that Philly Giants game: the Giants in 9 tries have not beaten Philly in Philly. All
Man,
right.
he is flexing.
But Fox, it wasn't a strong flex though. It was not.
Oh, look, I'm gonna tell you like this. Might not have been strong in person, but on this screen, it looked pretty strong, buddy.
I tell you what, that's not all that confident right there. I'll let you know about 11 o'clock tonight.
There it is. All right.
All righty, Ox, next game, Sunday. We're kicking it off with who?
Yep, the Bengals and the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So the makeup, basically, when you think about them playing, this is what they're going to have in store there. And in the game before, what I think it's all based on how healthy really is Josh Allen. And so but the other side is Cincinnati still got to rely on Joe Burrows a lot because their running game is 29th in the NFL. And so, and then this still is, are the Bills still riding a wave of, the kid getting hurt? So we'll see on, those parts and those pieces, but it's his playoff time and the speed of the game is a definitely different factor. And if Josh Allen is a little banged up, and he can't run like he was running, it's going to be a factor.
Mr. Fox.
Man, I'm telling you like this. I'm looking for a good
Ox, when the
game.
person starts off with, let me tell you like this. School is getting to be in session.
I'm looking for a good game. I think it's gonna be a shootout. And it's gonna come down to defense. We both know they got high powered offenses. It's gonna come down to defense. So the defense that holds up the best is gonna be, however, I believe because of how well Cincinnati has been playing, I think they'll be able to pull it out. I know that Buffalo is riding off of their teammate and the teammate coming back and recovering and all that. So it's going to be interesting. But I do believe that the Bengals may go ahead and pull it out. It's going to be a close one. I'm going to say the Bengals by 3.
I'm taking the Bengals. Hey, you got a chance to start a team. Do you take Josh Allen or Joe Burrow? Ken Oxendine.
Burrows all day because he just he's not going to take that. Like Josh Allen is, I think he's more or less, he's Cam Newton 2.0. So I can see him wearing out faster because Burrow's not trying to take those hits.
No, he's not.
He can, but he getting down or getting out of bounds. Where Josh Allen, he proving a point to you every time he said, "Look, I'm a big dude. You get in my way, I'm gonna kill all this."
And we saw it happen to Cam Newton doing that same thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Fox, who you got? If you got to start with what QB? Joe Burrow, Josh Allen.
I'm gonna go with Burrow.
It was close.
I think Allen has gotten smarter. But Burrow has something about him as far as his football IQ with the game, throws that he's able to make, the connection that he has with his receivers. Allen is getting better, but Joe Burrow has not had to rely on his running ability, on scrambling and running like Allen has. So that means that it kind of heightens you up. Where it heightens your senses up, where it comes to, all right, I need to get this ball out quicker. I need to find my receivers. I need to go my check downs. I need to go through my progressions. I think Burrow is ahead of Josh Allen when it comes to that. So that's why I would go with Joe Burrow.
So,
Both great players. Don't get me wrong, but I think Burrow is a little bit ahead of the game when it comes to going through his progressions and finding receivers and keeping himself alive in the pocket to be able to make those passes, those throws.
so there's times that Josh Allen has had to run for his life more.
Yeah, and he doesn't mind pulling the ball down to run because, he's 245-pound
Okay.
quarterback.
So you say he's gotten smarter.
He's a big man.
He is, okay. But there's bigger men chasing him down.
Exactly. It's bigger men chasing him down, and after a while, it'll wear down. So, but when I say Burrow, there's a difference between keeping yourself alive to make a throw and you like, okay, I can't make this throw, and you take off running. There's a difference between that. And sometimes it looks good. Oh, man, did you see what Josh Allen did? Because, he big boyed a DB one day where he stiff armed where he looked like Derrick Henry stiff arming a DB one day. Okay, so it happens. It happens, but that's not likely to happen as much, in his favor.
So sometimes the player learns. You're saying sometimes, but sometimes it's like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face. And then all of a sudden they go back to doing. Michael Vick, every time he ran in Philly, we all held our breath like, is he going to get up? Because he was getting tattooed.
Yeah.
And we were like,
after a while, they get your number. And after a while, they get your number, and they'll be able to account for that. So.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Insight, NFL Talk, Fox and Ox here, ESPN Richmond, Mike King Biz Radio. We got Ken Oxendine. We got De'Aaron Fox. Last game for the weekend, gentlemen. What we got, Ox?
We got Dallas and the 49ers. Monday night games stink, and what a lot of, especially for the away team, you're hoping that the Cowboys stayed overnight versus leading that night. And the reason I say it, because when I played my rookie, we had 3 Monday night games. You get no rest because you finish at 10:30, whatever that is. It take about an hour to 2 hours to get yourself squared away to get on the bus to get to the airport. Now you get back to your home around 5 o'clock in the morning. And so now you have to drive to your home from the airport. So now, and Tuesday's your day off. You're really not getting any rest. And so now, the coaches, they're prepping on the plane coming back, trying to look at film to get ready for the team. And then, you're playing catch up on your rest the whole time. And I think that's what it does play a part in the game. So that playing that Monday night hurts, the team more than it helps. So, and with the 49ers playing the way they're playing, I think the bigger part with this is that you have a rookie quarterback and you have Will Shanahan go back and resort to how he lost games in the past when it's a high pressure type game, and go away from his balance in those pressure situations. So, and then you saw Purdy last week, same thing with the young quarterback with Trevor Lawrence. Purdy can't have those hiccups in the first quarter like that, especially with Parsons on the other side. And now Dallas, Dak has to have, that game that he had, this week in order for him, because Dallas is is their son for that. If he doesn't have that game, I think it's, it's going to be a close game. But I think the 49ers come on top.
There you go. Ken Oxendine taking the San Francisco 49ers. Mr. Fox.
Go with the 49ers just because the defense is playing well. That third string quarterback isn't playing like a third string quarterback. The third string quarterback is playing like he's been starting all season. Actually, his QB performance has been better than their first round draft pick that got hurt, and Garoppolo. So overall, based on just this season and seeing these guys play, his quarterback play has been better than the other two starters based on stats and outcomes. Now, you got people saying that the teams that the 49ers played at the end of the season didn't have the best records and all. It doesn't matter, because we all know it doesn't matter what record a team has. You still have to line up and play that team and beat that team. Because we go back to records when Washington played Philly, Philly was undefeated. They were playing Philly at home. If Philly had all the advantages and everybody thought Philly was just going to drag Washington all around the stadium, and what happens? Washington came and they showed up and they played that day. Mm-hmm. You talk about last week, most recent, you got a game where a quarterback throws 4 picks. You think the game is over. All of a sudden, they outscored a team 20 something to 3 in the second half and win the game. That team blows the team that got the 4 picks blows a 20-point lead. So I think it's going to be a close game. Yes, I do think it's a close game. But however, I think San Fran is going to come out on top.
No question. I'm taking the Niners. Certain things I want to touch on really quickly here is everybody at home knows what time it is. You're up 3 scores. Why are you snapping the ball 35, 18 seconds, 20-some seconds to go? Run the clock down, man. Everybody knows that. And here's the quarterback. Just come on, man. And I guess it's different right when you're in the middle of it. When you're in the middle of it.
No, it's not different. It's coaching.
Yeah.
Mike, it's coaching. It's coaching, Mike. It's coaching. It's coaching because you have some people that get so complacent when they have that lead, they're not thinking that far enough ahead. Because you can still play aggressive, but okay, burn up more time on the clock. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
You can still call the same plays you're calling, but hey, make sure that you snap the ball with 3 or 4 seconds left on the clock every time. Make sure you look at the play clock and you snap the ball with 3 or 4 seconds left on the clock, not 14, 15 seconds left on the clock.
And everybody at home knows that. We're just looking at when you're up 3 or 4 scores, you're like, okay, they get 1. We're like, all right, they got 1. Then they get 2. You start looking around. Then they get 3. It's like, all right, now everybody tensing up. So this is Ox and Fox. Mike King, Deion Fox, Ken Oxendine. Really quickly, so Ox, we're talking about the Monday night game. Man, you got to give the NFL credit to just come up with something like that, the whole wild card weekend and then Monday, just milking it. The NFL is for making money right there, because you look at that. There was a time when the Super Bowl was over, football went away. Football is on every single day.
Yeah.
For them to play that few games.
Yeah.
I mean, people are not talking baseball at 162 games. I'm going to do something with NASCAR. NASCAR goes from February to October. NFL, you guys got 18 games, but you milk it for the whole year. So from the business model standpoint, the NFL got it right. I mean, this Monday night game, everybody's watching. They're hyping it. It's Monday Night Football.
And they've done it, forever, because you have these kids where they already have these athletes. They already have a fan base because of what the colleges they come out. So that helps. Some people, they don't have teams. They have players that they follow. Then on top of that, just everything the NFL has been able to do. You think about, now NFL football is almost, 9 months. When you think about, the preseason, you think about the draft, and now what they've really done is they've allowed, it's ever since the first HBO Inside NFL, they're allowing now in season
That was a different one. Now here I'm
yeah.
watching Cliff Kingsbury, and he in the Philippines somewhere chilling.
So yeah,
So
you talking about when they did Arizona doing the Hard Knocks
Yeah.
yeah,
during the season? Yeah, because inside the NFL is one thing and Hard Knocks is something else. So that's two different shows that they got. Inside the
yeah,
NFL is specifically talking about the NFL, but then the Hard Knocks, when they came out, when they do preseason, now they doing in season. So yeah, I know what you mean, man. Of course, they're trying to corner the market, man. That's why the first time the XFL came out, it wasn't successful because it was not
yeah,
connected to the NFL.
yeah,
Now the XFL is connected to the NFL in a different way. Because
yes,
I said this before on one of the shows that the NFL alumni now has what they call an alumni academy. This academy gets players that have been cut or not drafted or not given a shot or not picked up to go there and train. And they train in case there's an injury or whatever, and they can get picked up from there and get signed because they're in the alumni academy. Not only that, the XFL is they're picking their players directly out of that alumni academy to start off their teams. So their draft picks, their original draft picks that's coming out, they're coming from the guys that's not getting picked up, and they're coming from the guys that've been in this alumni academy to start off with, and then they're going to have tryouts around the U.S. At certain spots to pick up guys as well. So you got three ways that you're getting them, but this time the XFL is directly working with the NFL
yeah,
and or entities of the NFL to be able to get these guys opportunities to get to the big game. So,
yeah,
before it wasn't like that. Vince McMahon came in and was going against everything because the direct pipeline to the NFL at that time was NFL Europe.
yeah,
Guys was deciding to stay home in the States instead of going over to Europe. You were making more money in the States. Everybody got the same amount of money. Back then, the XFL in the year 2000, everybody got 50 grand to play 8 games.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Base pay. Everybody got a win bonus. Okay. Quarterbacks got 55, kickers got 45 grand. 8 games. You win a game, you got a $2,500 win bonus every time you win a game. Then you go to the playoffs. Top three teams, there's only 4 teams in each division. Top 3 teams in each division went to the playoffs. They were taking players away. People were turning down NFL Europe. So they didn't have players going to NFL Europe because they weren't getting any money. They were getting like pennies compared to what we were getting here. So, of course, that was shut down. 20 years later, XFL is back, and most people that don't remember because it was only 1 year. I'm glad that these young guys have chances to go out here and opportunities to go out here to get picked up by NFL teams. I'm glad that it's changed for them, that they have the resources that they have, the leagues that they have where they can be compensated, taken care of. They can also have a way to make some money until they get a chance to get the big payday. And for some of them, that big payday may be playing a few years in the XFL because I surely thought, you know what, I could do this XFL thing for about 3 or 4 years, you know, play for like 4 months and then go home and then work and then come back and play for another 3, 4 months where I'm making a minimum of 50 plus K a year over a 3 month period. Come on, man. You're making 50K over like a minimum of 50K over 3 months. Who wouldn't do that as a ball player
That is
and then
true.
come home? I know guys. It's one guy in particular. He played at Henrico, played at Norfolk State, ended up going to Baltimore Ravens and playing wide receiver. He played at Baltimore maybe 2 years. Uh, something happened. Left Baltimore. He ended up going uh, to Arena One and playing Arena One. Okay, played in Arena One all these years, breaking all these records. was Iron Bowl, like Iron Player, and Iron Player of the Year is like you play both ways in arena. And you know, he was Iron Player of the Year or whatever it was. He had all these accolades. And so after his like third or fourth year doing that, I asked him, I said, yo, and he would come home in the off season and work, you know, and work a job like in the office. He had a job here in Richmond. So I caught him at the gym one day and we were talking. I said, yo, I said, you gonna go back? I said, because I hear you, you know, you putting up numbers and all this. He said, nah, I'm not going back to the league. I was like, why? He said, man, why would I go back to the league and mess up the money that I'm getting playing in arena? He said, man, he said, I'm making six figures right now in arena. He said, I got endorsements. When I go to play, they put me up in an apartment. They give me a car to drive. He was like, I'm there. He said, I'm the man there. He said, and I'm making good money. He said, and I can come home in the off season at the end of Arena One. He said, and I work here and I got a business here that me and my wife are handling. He was like, I'm not gonna mess that money up. I was like, okay. Again, you hear my term I use all the time. Okay. Business decision. You taking a chance to go back to the league that cut you, and you may not get picked up, and then because you left the arena team that you were playing for, where you were doing so well and making that much money, they may feel some type of way because you left them high and dry, and they may put somebody else in your place. So no, I understand that, but again, Ken, you know as well as I do, the opportunities that the guys are afforded today, we didn't have those opportunities 20 years ago. You know, 20, or 25 years ago for me, 25, 26 years ago for me. Actually, no, 30 years ago for me, because it's 2023. Okay, so 30 years ago for me, they didn't have these opportunities. We had NFL, Arena One, and Canada. That's it.
Yeah.
There you go. Insider Talk, NFL Talks, Fox and Ox, Mike King. Gentlemen, really quickly, Ox, how can people find you?
FoxSportsGroup.com, all things Ken Oxendine on the web. Ken.Oxendine at NFLalumni.org.
There you go, Mr. Fox.
At 5756 Foundation on Instagram, 5756foundation.org, the website, Dion.Fox@NFLalumni.org. Also, you can find me at Mr. Fox at 5756foundation.com. I'm out there. We making positive change in the community, baby. So, you know, if you need to get in contact with me for any collaboration, feel free to reach out.
There you go. Ox and Fox, you guys are doing big things in the community. We'd like to thank you guys for doing that. This is Mike King. You can follow me on social platforms on the mic with Mike RVA. That is on ESPN Richmond 106.1, as well as International Business Growth Radio. That's what we do. We talk the game changers out there. Really quickly, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be able to catch up with us on Super Bowl Sunday. We're just going to say the big game Sunday because my legal fund, it does not allow me to say something that may cause what's the name of that law firm? Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, or whatever, coming after me. So we're just gonna call it the big game, and we're gonna be coming to you from a location. We'll give you more information on that, but we're gonna have NFL alum. We're gonna be there. My man Samar Lemon's gonna be there with the lemon drop. He's gonna be out after Mr. Fox's watch, and so we got him, and as well as EJ Sports, who's a young sports reporter with his own podcast out of Varina High School, where they're going to do some interviewing as well. That's what we do here. We bring people up and give them a shot. So on the mic to Mike, Dion Fox, Ken Oxendine, gentlemen, what time you go? As I always say, I'm like Russell Wilson. Go Eagles. Later.
Later.